It's official.
Ladyz talk on K84 podcast.
Today we got our lovely ladies in the house. Tracy.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, everyone.
And Jasmine.
Hey.
And then Marissa and Amanda. Of course, we miss you tonight. And I am Lord Christine, your host. So, the topic for today is what is love? But before we get into today's topic, we always have to start with a random icebreaker. And today's icebreaker is... All right, ready? And today's icebreaker is, if you had to pick animal legs, what would you pick and why? I know, right? What did you just say? What did you say? Jasmine, what kind of animal legs?
I didn't make, okay, I was like, I didn't make this.
What kind of animal legs would you pick?
I would pick a flamingo because I stand like that anyway and they're pink. So it just feels like it's not too different. I can rock it.
Okay, all right. I feel like we should get her like flamingo figurine. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think, doesn't that mean you're like a swinger or something?
It does it?
I thought that was a pineapple.
Yeah.
I see a lot of flamingos and a lot of pineapples in my neighborhood.
Where do you live? Okay, I'm gonna go. I would be a giraffe because I just see myself singing, "You're not on my level, hey," because you just not. Like, you know what I'm saying? We up here, you down there. No, I'm just joking. Let me stop. Alex.
I think I'd pick an ostrich so I could run really fast. You know? I don't know.
Okay.
And aren't they tall? Are they pretty tall and skinny?
Yeah, I think they're pretty tall.
I think, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, a cheetah would have worked, but whatever.
I do think a cheetah has cute legs.
Yeah,
And they'll keep you warm in the winter.
just can run so fast.
Tracy, I know you're like, what the hell is wrong with you people today?
I needed a moment to process that, and I still don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm like, what kind of question? But if I had to choose animal legs, why was I getting ready to say snake? They don't even have legs. They don't even have legs.
Okay.
So I guess I'm gonna go with that because
okay.
A little lizard?
She's like, because I ain't answering your stupid question.
or I could say horse because then I'd be a centaur and then that would make sense, instead
And
of
you
like
probably have a big booty, right?
a little
I've been
stallion.
wondering that. Like, if you had like a horse or a donkey, would you have a big butt?
I think so.
Oh, shoot.
So yeah.
I liked the snake. That's funny.
Oh my
It's like, don't
gosh.
say that.
See, you know what? I love our icebreakers. All right, getting back into today's topic. So we all know love when we feel it and experience it, but can we define it and describe it? So, what is love? Jasmine.
I mean, but do we know love when we like experience it?
Well,
Like, do we all? I know some of us do.
have you ever been in love and didn't know that you were in love?
Well, okay, so I guess I'm interpreting this differently. If somebody is like showing me love, if it's not
It's
the way I want to
romantic
get
love.
love. Oh. Well, I'm thinking romantic, am I not? Like, if my husband is like showing me love and it's not the way I want to receive love, or I don't recognize it because that's not what love feels like to me or looks like to me. Like,
So
Right.
basically what you're saying off jump is, okay, there are different love languages, and if you can't interpret them or you don't appreciate that particular love language, somebody might actually show you love, you might not feel it, or you might give love and they might not receive it.
Yeah.
So love isn't so easy to decipher.
And then there's
I don't
just
think
sickos
so.
who just
Oh
can't.
God. Well, y'all just threw off my whole question, didn't
Last
you?
week's episode. So that we were talking about narcissists. But anyways, I don't know. That's a really good question. You know, like if I don't receive your version of love or whatever love language you give, can I still acknowledge that as love? And no one asked, but I think you can. I mean, I guess you kind of technically asked. I just didn't know if you wanted us to answer the question.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, but I guess because, you know, if I see two people that I know nothing about, I like to think that, oh, they love each other. Like if based off of actions. So I think you can acknowledge it, but then still be like, but I don't receive it as love. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just not yours. I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I overheard, a little clip from like the men's talk on K84 podcast, and one of them was saying that men submit by like doing things for a female, and I'm like, that's not submission, that's acts of service, and that's actually a love language. But whatever. You know, so they feel like what would be considered a love language, that's how you show your love, that's their version of submitting. Okay.
Or maybe his version.
Maybe because he doesn't want to do acts of service. So it is submitting because he doesn't want to do it. So maybe he doesn't even know that about himself. Because how the hell are you submitting when you're really just showing love?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to do something nice for someone, you have to submit to them. Anyways, so I got off topic, but you know, it threw me for a loop. I'm like, men really think like this? He's probably gonna watch this and be like, this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, bring it on, bro. No. So, love language. Okay, so a lot of people don't know about love languages. Alex, are you familiar with the 5 love languages?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you break them down for us?
I don't know if I know. Acts of service, words of affirmation. I think physical touch is one. I don't know if I know the other
Gifts and quality time.
Okay, there we go. Gift giving and then quality time. Yeah, I don't work with love languages a lot with couples because I don't do that, you know. But usually, like with yourself, like how do you show yourself love? So I use the 5 love languages that way.
Oh, I
So
like that.
yeah, it's just like a lot different concept. But to me, like love it's so, what's the word, like complex and vast. Like I feel like it can be a feeling, it can be like an act, it can be all these different things, you know.
We want to get into all these different things. So Sternberg has a triangular love theory, or theory of love, right? So what he says is that there's a type of love and then it has a component, right? So friendship, the component is intimacy, like that closeness. Infatuation is passion. There's an empty love, which is just a commitment. Like we all know, like those marriages that they're roommates, right?
Yeah.
And you're committed to that roommate. You know, that sucks. Romantic love is a combination between intimacy and passion, which is a little better, right? Companionate love is just intimacy. Fatuous love is commitment and passion, but no intimacy, which to me is super weird. And then consummate love is the combination between intimacy, passion, and commitment, which is the goal, right? Ideally. Unless you're both weird and then you're okay with being roommates, right? So that's just one theory on love, but it just helps us, you know, take into consideration what might that look like in real life, right? So after reading those, is there any examples that pop in your head, like from your own lives or something that you personally experienced, or you could tie that to as an example?
I'm thinking about all of that triangle that you shared, and I'm thinking about how I've seen most relationships go through all of those things that you shared. Like you might start having it all, right? The intimacy, the passion, what was the other one? The connection. No, I'm missing one.
Commitment, passion, and intimacy.
And then and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think it's very natural to find yourself in phases of missing one and then having them missing another, and then having them just depending on what area you're in your life, really.
Yeah, or what stage of the relationship, right? So to me, like when you're young and in love, right? Or you're first married, maybe it's like, oh, it's a lot of passion, you know? And then maybe when you have kids, you kind of fall out of that a little bit. It's more of like the loyalty commitment thing. And then afterwards, maybe it's more of like all three,
Yeah.
right? Where you're getting to that level of having the passion, the intimacy, the connection, all of it.
Or there's like arranged marriages, and it starts off with just the commitment,
Right,
And then the others
maybe,
grow.
and then maybe love and all the loyalty and all the other. I mean, all that grows. Yeah.
So love, it can be like a spectrum, and you can come in and out of it. But as long as you have like one piece of it, you could still say that well, I don't know if you could say you're in love. I don't know, but you could definitely say that there is love. But I mean, is there a difference between being in love and just loving your partner?
I don't know. I think for me, yeah. I mean, I love a lot of people that I'm not in love with, if that makes sense.
But
So-
intimate, like an intimate partner. So
I don't know. I guess it's different for everyone. Again, to
can
me,
you
love
fall
is so
out of
complex.
love with someone and still love them, but while you're still in a committed relationship with them?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Even when you're not in a committed, I think about people that I know that co-parent really well, right? They're not in love with that person anymore that they were, but they still love and care about that person, right? So they have something in common, or even if they don't, they still share like love for that person. So
So how does it look different?
What do you mean? Maybe I'm not following.
I think if you are in love with someone, there is that passion. I can't picture in love without passion. But if
So
you
being in love, you
someone-
think requires that check mark of a passionate love, which actually could either it is either the infatuation, the romantic, which is passion tied with intimacy, or the consummate, which is intimacy tied with passion and commitment.
Yeah. So I think in my head, in love is like that consummate. Whereas you can love your husband and not like him very much right now, right? Like
But
like
can
Alex
you
said.
be in love with your
Well,
husband and not like him right
I feel
now?
like you can love your husband and not be in love with him. Like if you, maybe you're 9 months postpartum and he, not a bad person, but I don't want to see your face right now because you're not meeting needs. It doesn't mean you don't love that person, but he probably ain't touching you right now. Like if you're not having an intimate connection with me and making me feel passion, I don't want to have a physical connection with you, right? But it doesn't mean I don't love you. So I think that it could be very natural for people's relationships to go from love and in love, not necessarily committed and not committed, but I think the differentiator is like that passion. You're gonna love a friend. I don't think anybody describes themselves as being in love with a friend. Like I think that passion and that you can have intimacy with a friend. I don't have passion with my friends.
or the intimacy.
You're like, I
and
really
connection.
gotta
I'm passionate. Let me call my best friend. Girl, let me tell you what happened.
I think that's intimacy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I feel you. But let's say in that example, right, where, I mean, maybe there's a mental health issue, maybe there's a physical issue, there could be any kind of issue, and you're kind of giving off, like, back up. How does that read on the other side from where they're sitting and, like, I love you? So is love the ability to push and pull and know when to push in and when to back off?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
You have to understand your partner, I think, with that, and then also have a certain level of care that you want to know your partner to that level. Because there are a lot of people who can like you and may have love for you, but like, I think being in love is more tied to passion, but also like the actions they take in order to create that bond with their partner. So yeah, I do think it's a little bit of a push and a pull, and like your partner understanding like, I can love you, I can even be in love with you, but at this moment in time, like, I need my space. And that's totally fine to acknowledge, and hopefully doesn't call your love for them into question. So I hope I'm making sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We love you. Do you guys think love is influenced by biology or culture?
Absolutely.
Which one?
Both.
All right. Give me more.
Yeah.
Give me more.
I mean, when you see someone that you love or you're attracted to, right, there's like chemicals that are released, or when you hug someone or kiss them for so long, right? I mean, there's evidence that shows like biologically there's chemicals in your brain that release. And then I think, what'd you say, culture is the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really know. I would have to think more about like how.
In the United States, how do you think culture impacts love or what we view as love or how we express it?
I guess maybe how you were raised, what you were around, you know.
Yeah.
If you were maybe raised in a church or if you weren't, or like what type of parents you had, what type of relationships you were around, what you viewed on TV, what you saw on TV, like those types of things. Movies.
And a toxic family,
Well,
love might be beating your ass.
Damn.
For sure, yeah. Red flags aren't red flags if they were green flags in your home.
Facts.
it's
I
true.
mean, it's just that's 100%, you know. Or if you grow up in like divorced households, you know,
Yeah.
you might have not mirrored that very well. You didn't understand, or maybe that's the culture that you grew up around, seeing love, you know. So I definitely think it all plays a factor for me. I mean, for my own opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. Culture has a huge impact, and something that I think about often is like how the westernized culture, I guess, like we have such a different way of how we express our love too, because of, you know, where we live in the country we grew up in. Because I was reading a Reddit post. Long story short, you know, a girl was with her boyfriend. He didn't propose when, you know, she thought he was. And someone in the comments was like, you know, sometimes it's a little interesting to me to know that, you know, in America, y'all surprise each other with proposals, because where I'm from, we talk about that. You know, like, when do you want to get married? What is that date you're looking at? Things of that nature. So that way, like, their partner isn't at a surprise. And I guess, like, you know, that's just how they do it over there. So I don't know. And that made me think, you know, I'm like, okay, say if I didn't get a surprise proposal and he sat me down and he talked to me about it, I might feel some type of way because I'm from Western society. So to me, it's like, oh, you didn't put care, you didn't put effort in, you didn't do this. It wasn't romantic enough for me. Where were the balloons and the roses?
Yeah.
But when I sat down and thought about it, I'm like, I actually would not mind if I was serious about someone and they sat me down and was like, when do you want to get married? That makes a lot of sense to me. So I do think culture plays like a huge part on how people, you know, show love.
Positive or negative influence, like
Exactly.
in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even generation, because if you're older in life, you're not going to be all excited about the surprise, you know.
That too.
You probably have been talking about it more likely than not earlier than later, because you're both older, you probably both been through some things, and you're like, hey, this feels good to me, this feels good to me, and you guys are talking about it early on.
Yeah.
Or two people that been maybe the ones that were overly committed, gave 100%, and had some crap partners. Because I don't know why that happens, but it seems like the good guy or the amazing woman ends up with the wrong partner so many times. Like, how does that opposite attract crap happen so much? It just doesn't feel right. Like one of those things in life. But I do think where you're at in your life would definitely play a role in whether or not you gave a crap if it was a surprise.
Yeah, that's true. I think, because I was thinking of that spectrum, yeah, like 30-year-old me now can probably say, like, yeah, I wouldn't mind if we sat down and talked about it. Me 6 years ago probably was like, I need pompous, I need circumstance, I need
I need a
glitter.
cruise or
You know?
a yacht, okay? I need a chef.
Make it a big deal.
Yes, definitely rose petals.
But you said something, you were saying, like, you know, how can someone be with someone that they know isn't good for them? But I think that that's just self-love. And so that's why when, because, like, they say who you date is, like, a self-reflection of how you feel about yourself. And so for me, when I saw that we were talking about what is love, I was excited about it, but also perplexed, because I feel like, man, love shows up in so many ways, in different forms, with different relationships. And so I'm like, it is so hard to define what it is.
Yeah,
but
it's so complex.
So complex. So I just try to go to, I think, 1 Corinthians 13. I'm like, if I can just, like, get to that, which talks about, you know, like, love not being A what? A
I have
record
it
of
right
wrongdoing?
here.
I figured we were going to get to it, so my bad if I'm...
Love is patient. I'm gonna read it for you,
Thank
and then
you.
you can finish your thought.
Thank you.
It's 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so beautiful.
mic drop. We're done. Like, that's all you need in life, right? If only it were that simple.
No. He blessed us with complex emotions, so we're not always going to feel one way at the time, all the time.
Yeah, but if you did find that person,
I don't know. I think that's... I don't want to say impossible because that sounds cynical. But, like, let's be real for a moment.
That's sad.
I think it's possible, but maybe you don't get everything at the same time.
Right, and that's... Yeah,
Right, or
like,
it's
you're not gonna
mixed
get everything.
in with
Yeah.
their attitude, their stank ass shirt. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not saying
The fact that they
that.
don't help with the dishes or change diapers, or they just, like whatever it is, like they're grumpy when they're hangry, like whatever it is, like you can maybe get all those things with the other things that make them a human.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to
It's
say.
just
Yeah.
freaking annoying too. Like, you're such a great lover. Oh, get away from me. I know you know. So, some of the things that, people mention when the word love comes up, it's that strong attraction or infatuation, which I think you need that first before you can ever get to passion. And, I guess you could have a passionate one night stand, but that's not love, So you need it. It's like a prerequisite, and it will lead to that true passionate love. But, do you think you could fall in love with someone you're not strongly attracted to?
I think so.
I think so.
I've had a good, solid crush on a lot of ugly people.
What was the crush for?
I think it was the kindness. I think it was the intimacy in the sense of like being heard and listened to.
Yeah, the emotional
'Cause
connection.
It definitely wasn't the mug.
Wasn't the mug.
No.
But emotional connection for sure.
Yeah.
Emotional connection is on this list, by the way. Absolutely. That's legit. Could you be in love with someone you don't have an emotional connection with?
I don't think so.
For
Probably
me,
not.
it would be very difficult and probably not
Yeah.
possible. A lot of females, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we are emotionally attached to people first a lot of times, and then some other stuff comes.
But
So
what
I don't
about
know.
men? Do you think a man can be in love with someone he doesn't have an emotional attachment with?
I don't know. I don't know.
We
Yeah,
did.
that's hard to
Okay.
speak for men.
Yeah.
It's
hard to
it
speak
is
for them.
possible for them to give their bodies over, for sure. But
I think that I don't know if they can be in love without having that, but I do think that they are often willing to commit before having that. I think that if the passion is strong enough for a man, the commitment can follow, and the emotional connection probably is the latter to come, like a true emotional connection, not.
But wouldn't they
passion.
say that about women who need a place to stay, or they need them for something like monetary, which is what you might hear about?
Well, I think if you need somebody, you don't necessarily. It doesn't mean you love them.
It means you're a user.
It just means you're
Resourceful.
getting a need.
I
You're
like
getting a need met.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, you're getting a need met. So
Yeah.
So you're not using them. You're getting a need met. I don't know.
you can say it however you want.
Right.
I'm trying to be kind.
But
yeah.
This country was built on the barter system, was it not?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
so it's bartering.
Mutual.
It's not
You gotta
love.
do what you
It's
got.
servicing of
bartering.
needs.
Right.
So love is not bartering.
No.
No.
Unless you're happily married and you're like, I'll do the dishes if you.
I also
That's
think
fair.
there's
I think that's
always I think there's always outliers.
Yeah.
From like the standard. Like I always think there are
For sure.
outliers.
I mean, and everybody's love is going to look different. Like my
Absolutely.
neighbor can be happily in love with her husband and have a completely different relationship than mine, and it be crazy on the outside looking in, and both are completely happy. Like, I think that, to your point, there are all these things that make up love, all of these things we need to feel and do and provide and give, but we're not going to be able to do that all the time. That's like where the human factor comes in. There's probably your spouse, your partner, whomever you're connected with probably has a priority list that you need to be meeting most of the time for them to feel love and for them to be able to reciprocate that love back to you.
But for all of us here, emotional connection and attachment is on that like hierarchy of needs pretty high up, right?
Oh, yeah.
To fall in love, for sure. I think that you can fall in and out of being connected to a partner. I think that's natural, just as we grow in life. You don't grow at the same pace. You don't, if you marry somebody in your 20s, you're probably going to fall in and out of love with them a few times by the time you get to your 30s. Like, you're a completely different, you have half a brain in your 20s. You're a completely different person in your 30s.
Different person,
yeah.
Okay. And once you have kids, it's so different. Like, there's a lot of things that I think affect this.
So you may or may not maintain the attraction or the emotional connection, but what about the element of like unconditional love? Like, can that also waver, or is that like a, oh crap, we've entered into the danger zone?
For me, that's like the foundation, right? Because if everything else is coming and going, the unconditional love should still be there. Like, I don't like you right now, like you were talking about, or like I'm 9 months postpartum or 8 months postpartum. Get away from me. But that unconditional love is there. Like, I made a commitment to you. I love you. Like, to me, that's where that plays into it.
I mean, for my kids.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody else's has conditions. Like, what? Can you pull up the definition of that?
Of unconditional love?
Yeah, like, because I'm thinking, like, no, this definitely has conditions. Like, I'm going to give you a runway and some grace, but
yeah.
What is unconditional love? Like, you just...
I don't know.
I think that means
you're
you
making
just
me
love...
question my whole perspective on life. What the hell do you mean?
I think that just means you love someone unconditionally, like no matter the condition, no matter what.
Yeah, no, we have... Are we talking about, like, physical conditions? Like, okay, we're poor today?
I don't know. Like, that could be...
Well, for better or worse.
Yeah, that could be
sickness
anything.
and health. Like,
I need bullets and sub-bullets.
Okay. Hey, amendment.
Yeah.
Oh my, yes, addendum A.
Thank you.
What the
Yeah.
hell? A. You need a prenup.
I don't need a prenup.
No, you need a list with addendum.
I don't even need a list, but if you know what's important to me, majority of the time I expect you to meet my needs, and majority of the time I expect to meet your needs. So I'm thinking unconditional love. Like, what do you mean? If you go get a girlfriend, that is a condition of not love. Like, or is that not what we're
Conditions are
talking
in.
about?
Okay, wait. I'm
getting you.
We all
Yes,
agree,
I do
like,
get that.
There's lines, okay?
Yes,
there's
yes,
lines.
for sure.
Okay, unconditional lines within the boundary of a healthy relationship. But, I mean, sometimes it might be unhealthy. Like, they might go and get a new addiction. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to try to help them through that? Or are you like, oh,
Probably
hell
not.
no, I'm out
Well,
immediately?
Probably not.
I
You
think
didn't have
it's
no
like
business.
up to the person,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
some people stay
So
with their spouses. if they-
unconditional love is
Yeah.
not really a thing. Is that what
Correct.
we're saying?
Well, it's
I
conditional
agree with
upon
that.
the person, Because
Yeah.
like some people will stay with a spouse if they cheat, right? They'll work through that. They're fine. They build the trust. They go on. Other people, it's like, no, that's a line for me. I'm done.
Yeah.
The love is out the door, you know? So I think it just depends.
Damn, like, so I'm like, is unconditional love like not really a thing then?
I mean, I think it's a thing, or should be. I can't speak for everybody. It should be for, like, your kids. I think they're the only ones who should deserve unconditional love. I don't think your parents
I
get
don't know.
unconditional love.
And don't.
Period.
I feel like I have unconditional love
Sorry.
for my best friend. Like, I feel like no matter what she has ever done, she's ever told me anything, like, that's it. I feel like that with my kids.
What's the difference between your best friend and the person you made a vow to?
Well, I'm
Death
just
do
trying
us
to...
part. No, I feel like this
some
is crazy as hell because I'm low-key like, I see both sides. Oh, crap.
I was just trying to say some other people besides, like, your partner. I thought that's what we were going. I thought that's where we were going. Maybe not.
Laura, You kind of ate with that though.
I'm really struggling.
I was like, ooh,
I agree with you. Where's the definition?
Right.
But
But
yeah.
okay, to Alex's point, I can name hella conditions that will ex parte my spouse. I can't really think of much my best friend can do.
Sleep with your spouse.
All right. That's
Well-
a condition. I really
But
like
then
what
I feel
else
like
could
we're
they-
getting into.
But that's because it's his condition, not hers.
But then I feel like we're getting.
I feel like that's the one line. Like, what
Yeah.
else could my best friend do that is going to
Right.
affect me so much?
That's
Yeah.
gonna.
That I
That's
should
why I
love
was
her.
thinking that. Like
Yeah.
to me, like
That
no
makes
matter
sense
what
to me.
she's told me or done, like I don't. You know,
Yeah.
there it's like there and that's
So
it.
your spouse affects you more than anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
Which is
For the most
why there has to be lines.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
agree with
I think that's actually makes sense because there are negative emotions associated with love. Okay, anxiety, depression, stress, jealousy,
Ooh.
obsessiveness, possessiveness, sadness, thoughts of harm. Okay, so I would say if your unconditional love leads to those, then you definitely need to evaluate,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
communicate with your spouse or significant other, and try to get help. I mean, if you made a commitment, let's say marriage, you made a vow, do you at least try, or are you like, oh hell no, like I got you stressing me out, like
I think that's up
I
to
need
the
a divorce.
person.
Yeah.
It's up to the person what they. Yeah.
Not
So
everybody is equipped with the
unconditional
tools.
love is truly not unconditional.
I mean,
I'm like really struggling.
I'm not gonna say it's truly not unconditional, but you're saying like if you're married, do you just like walk away? Obviously, I think both of you ladies are married, right?
Right.
I am not. So if I meet someone and they start, fucking up, sorry, I don't know if I can say that.
You
got an exit stage left, right? Maybe I'll give you one grace, if I have, I'll let you know my boundaries. Maybe you didn't know that was something that bothered me.
Right.
But if you do it again, I'm going to come to you and be like, what's
you're
the
out.
problem? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm a little bit silly. Because if I have to come to you again about it, in that same conversation is me wrapping up whatever this is, right? And I feel like I can kind of do that because, I'm not married. I may not have kids with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say I'm playing it riskier, but I think you get my point. Whereas married, right, like you've got to think about a lot of things. And not only are you going to be, changing your life if you were to decide to walk away, you're also probably mourning that relationship. And that is not easy to do either. So I think like people who are married probably have a lot more grace than people like me who are single. You know what I'm saying? But also I do agree, like there's got to be conditions. And I think a part of that also kind of keeps your partner in check. You know that your woman is not the type to sit through some cheating, well, then you need to act correct. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I feel about it.
My husband and I were dating maybe 5, maybe 6 months, I don't know, before we got married. And had we not been married, we would not be married now. Like when he moved in, not because he was doing anything wrong, right? Not because he was a bad person, not because he wasn't treating me well, but like just having to acclimate. I was a single mom at the time, right? So I had my daughter, I had my own space, I had my own routine, I had my own job. Just having to acclimate to somebody new and take into account someone else's needs and someone else's feelings and how their routine needs to fit into my routine. That was a really hard first year. Again, nothing bad happened. It was just hard. And I did not have the patience to do that. I did not have the nervous system to do that. And had we not already been married, I'd have been like, you know what? This isn't working for me. When in fact, like nothing bad was happening. It's just you don't have that as much runway. I mean, I'm speaking for me. I don't have that much runway for somebody that I don't need to have that much runway for. And as I invest in that relationship and it builds equity, that runway is going to change for sure. But, I mean, if I just met you, you start in like
In the negatives.
hella conditions.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
and
guilty until proven innocent. I'm sorry.
Tracy.
Sorry.
somebody else sounds jaded. No,
Don't do me like
I'm joking. It's a joke.
So really, maybe that term is just like
BS.
inappropriate.
I will never look at it. I will never look at it this.
Is that like in
inappropriate,
actual
maybe?
vows or something?
Well, I don't think the word. I mean, maybe for some.
I mean, if you put it in there,
But
I don't
I
know
mean,
that-
like, but see, the whole premise of unconditional is unconditional. But now I'm like,
Hella conditions.
that's not even. But is that really real? I can only speak for myself. And what looked like an unconditional relationship, which is my decades-long toxic relationship, we were just trauma bonded, okay?
Right.
And so, were we really unconditional? Probably not. Like, we were damaging each other and our kids.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So, I don't know if I would say it might have felt like we had unconditional love, right? Like, all right, no matter what happens,
Right.
I love you. So then you
Yeah.
then you get the then you get the dopamine and the serotonin,
Yep.
and you're like, oh, we really love each other. No,
Just chasing dopamine.
yeah, it's like all the opposite things of 1 Corinthians. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people probably do mix up them trauma bonds with that unconditional commitment. So that's, first of all, that sucks. Okay, if, like I'm getting flashbacks, PTSD. No, it sucks. It sucks for it. Honestly, it sucks for both people. In all honesty. So other words and things